I've been asked the question, what happens when the narcissist knows that you know? In other words, how might a narcissist behave once they catch on to the fact that you are onto them with their narcissism and manipulative tactics? In this video, I'm going to be tackling that question. Now first, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Shaneen Megji. Welcome to my YouTube channel on Toxicity is Not Your Destiny. My mission is to help people navigate toxic relationships in their lives from a biblical, practical, and spiritual perspective. So if you like this video, if you want to receive more content from me on a regular basis, subscribe to my channel because every single week I'm going to be uploading a new video to empower you in navigating toxic relationships in your life. So now let's dive into this subject. I'll start by saying that the question, what happens when the narcissist knows that you know, has a false implication in it. And I'm going to take a few minutes now to explain why that is and then get into really answering the question, what happens when the narcissist knows that you know, in terms of how a narcissist might frame it. So this question has a false implication in it because it implies that a narcissist is trying to conceal their true identity or keep some sort of secret, which is not really the case. It's not like a narcissist knows that they're a narcissist and looking to hide their true persona. That's not how they think. A narcissist probably knows deep down somewhere that there's something wrong with them. However, they lack the interest to understand what it is, and they're afraid of looking too deep within themselves. So they're not consciously trying to hide a secret from you. It's not like they're holding their breath, waiting for you to discover that they have this disease called narcissism. But what is going on is that the narcissist sees the world very differently from most people, and they hold fast to their version of reality over everyone else's. And so you might be thinking they're a narcissist and you're onto them. Well, they couldn't really care less because they believe that the way they operate is perfectly acceptable and normal, and you are the one with the problem. The other thing about narcissists is that they are acutely aware that their personality causes most people to not want to be around them for long, or to eventually leave them, and they can argue ever so eloquently why this is not their fault, and rather they were the poor victim who was dealt a bad hand of cards with these people who did them wrong by not sticking it out with them. Regardless, however the narcissist feels about it, it doesn't change the fact that they have this type of effect on people, and the narcissist knows it fully well. On top of that, their primal fear is abandonment. So just remember these three realities. Number one, narcissists have their own version of reality. Number two, they know that people will eventually want to leave them. And number three, they have a massive fear of abandonment. So back to the original question. What happens when a narcissist knows that you are onto them? Well, there's no such thing in their world. For them, because of the three realities I mentioned, they see you as either for them or against them. That is how they process you. It's all very black and white. That is all they're ever really scanning in your demeanor or interactions with them at any given time. And that is because of their fear of abandonment and their propensity to classify people as either all good or all bad. And to make you out as the all bad takes the responsibility off of them to self-reflect and take ownership. So managing their fear of abandonment and deflecting anything that smells like shame is where a lot of the narcissist's inner resources are spent. So instead of picking up that you are onto them, a narcissist is more likely to pick up on the subtle changes of your vibes or energy around them that are happening because of all the stuff that you are learning about narcissism and narcissistic abuse and narcissistic personality disorder, and you're picking up stuff about them. And you actually may not even be intentionally letting on that you're learning all this stuff because you don't want to trigger the narcissist after all in any way and cause unnecessary stress. However, even if you do your best to hide, a narcissist always smells that something is different because they're highly sensitive to any kind of slights from anyone. And these don't have to be slights by commission, they can be slights by omission. That is, they can be things that you stop doing even to the slightest degree where the narcissist is concerned. And they can be unconscious things on your part. Maybe there has been a drop in your level of excitement or engagement or listening or affirming or having energy around them, or maybe being as responsive to them as you once were because of your newfound knowledge on narcissism. So these subtle changes can set off alarm bells in a narcissist's mind. It's not the fact that you know something or that you're onto them that sets them off, but it's their noticing a fluctuation in the dose of admiration or support or respect or time or responsiveness that you normally give them, which is what psychology calls narcissistic supply. The drug narcissists are addicted to keep feeding their inflated false self. It is these fluctuations in dosage of narcissistic supply that are taken as slights, which cause a narcissist to get enraged or get easily riled up or frustrated. So you might have learned all of these things about narcissism, and therefore your perception of the narcissist in your life has gone down, and you haven't been very vocal about it just yet because you're trying to figure out what you're going to do next and how you're going to handle it. But even still, while you're navigating it all and not being vocal about it, how you feel and what you're going through still leaks out in unconscious ways in your body language, your tone, how you act, how you don't act. This can all happen without you having to say any words at all. So if you think about a narcissist being a drug addict, that's like them getting a lower dosage of drug from you and then they suffer the withdrawal. And that's when they start to think of you as turning on them or abandoning them or contemplating those thoughts. So what happens when they feel that from you? Well, if they expect narcissistic supply and that dose is down, then they're likely to try and get it from you in a negative way. So if they can't get your admiration, your praise, your attention or respect, then they're going to start to act in cruel ways to exert their dominance and power over you. They may harass you and shame you, punish you, humiliate you, berate you, persecute you, blow up your cell phone, all in order to attain the narcissistic supply. And when they can't get the supply from you through your support, love, admiration, and affirmation, then they will use the power they have to hurt you, to make you feel small and worthless and inferior in order to feed their sense of significance and self-importance. And that's the drug that they're after. So a narcissist who's not getting his drug can really crank up the abuse on you, especially if they know that you're in a vulnerable position with them and you're dependent on them. When they know that they have power over you and you depend on them for things, then they will know that you will not leave them if they crank up the abuse. So that's what they would dish out at you. However, if you catch on to them and you have been delinking from them at the same time and building up your support elsewhere and phasing out of their life emotionally, and the narcissist picks up on that fluctuation in your narcissistic supply towards them, that could create a very different response. And the reason is because if they dish out the abuse on you to get their narcissistic supply, you could easily just up and leave them in a heartbeat because they realize you don't need them. So instead of you being threatened by them discarding you, now their fear of abandonment is extremely heightened. So in this case, their primal fear of abandonment will trump their need for that narcissistic supply from you, whether positive or negative. And this puts the narcissist in a very vulnerable position, and therefore they are likely to start love bombing you all over again, as if the relationship is new because they still need you. So they will use love bombing as a way to gaslight you into thinking that all this narcissism stuff that you are learning about them does not apply to them. And they will do kind things. They will affirm their love for you. They will affirm your place in their life. They will affirm your value and your importance. And it may seem so real and genuine that you might be wondering if all that you're doing and learning about narcissism is actually motivating them to make changes in their ways. But I just want to warn you that this love bombing is a form of manipulation to woo you back and get you hooked back into the relationship. It is not a sign of long-lasting, heartfelt change and repentance. Now, if you are someone who is very significant in their life, perhaps a spouse or a family member or somebody the narcissist relies on a lot, and if you are in a place where the narcissistic supply you have been giving to the narcissist is very low or non-existent, and the narcissist doesn't have other sources lined up for supply because maybe they are at a point in their life where the balance of friends versus enemies has tipped towards enemies, where you don't need them, you could walk out of their life tomorrow, but the narcissist needs you. If all that was in place, it is possible that God could use this equation to wake up a narcissist to produce change, because for a narcissist, that level of abandonment may be more fearful than the narcissist facing themselves in the mirror. And maybe, just maybe, there might be a window where they would face themselves in the mirror, because it takes that intensity of being cornered and hard-pressed on every side for a narcissist to finally look in the mirror. This is sometimes the equation that God uses to shake people out of their slumber. And we know that Jezebel in the Bible was a narcissist, and even more than a narcissist. And yet God said about her, I have given her time to repent. Well, if there wasn't any hope for repentance for her, why would God give her time to repent? So I believe God will custom engineer a hard-pressing trial in a narcissist's life to humble him or her, to move him or her to cry out to God and ask for his help. And if you are in a position where you are strong enough to walk away from the narcissist, that very strength and courage that you carry could be the thing that God uses to motivate a narcissist to face himself or herself. I personally think if God is cornering a narcissist on every side in all their relationships and their finances and their health, if every area of their life is in a hard place and then they risk losing a really meaningful source of narcissistic supply, all of that equation could force them to look in the mirror and maybe wake up. And that is when I believe it's really, really important to pray, because when this happens, it is God confronting a narcissist. That's what confronting a narcissist looks like in the natural, and that's where things are hanging in the balance for a narcissist, whether they choose to look in the mirror or come up with yet another narrative of reality that supports their delusions about themselves and others. But we know that God doesn't wish for any man to perish. It's not his desire for the narcissist to perish. And I do believe that God does things to try to influence the narcissist to turn to God and not to continue to harden his or her heart. So depending on what the nature of your relationship is with the narcissist, you can expect any of these types of responses to happen that I shared just now. So what can you do? Well, you may have to leave at the end of the day, no matter what the outcome is, because staying either means enabling a narcissist or having to expend so much of your inner resources, setting strong boundaries, which a narcissist will perpetually try to cross, and try to keep yourself from being run over by a narcissist. And is it worth it to live a life where you have to keep contending with a toxic person like that? It's like choosing to live in a war zone. Or you might have to leave. And leaving could actually be the thing that God uses to wake up the narcissist. But listen, don't leave in order to see your narcissist get healed or woken up, because it also may not happen, or it may take a very, very long time. If and when you leave, it's really important to do it because it is something that God has led you to do, and you are trusting him with the outcome, whether it means a restored relationship or not. It's all about ultimately surrendering to God and embracing his purpose for your life, whether the narcissist is part of it or not. And if you are afraid to leave because the narcissist has become such a powerful force in your life and you have become dependent on him or her, trust God that he is your protector and your strength and your provider, and he will look after you. He is greater than the narcissist in your life. He is more powerful. Just know that God can supply to you everything that you were depending on the narcissist for, and he can even supply to you way more than you had with the narcissist and even before you met the narcissist. God is abundantly good. God is not going to let you be damaged out of this process. He's going to be there to catch you and to heal you, to restore you, and to make you better than you even were before you met the narcissist. And that's really the kind of God we serve. If you are struggling with the thought of living your life without the narcissist, I have created a video called Trauma Bonds and How to Break Them. I would encourage you to watch it. So if you found this video helpful and you would like to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell, because every week I'm going to be bringing you a new video to empower you in navigating toxic relationships in your life. And if you like this video, please give it a like. This brings me to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time.